I spent more time in prison using the toilet than the total length of your entire sentence at Club Fed. I hated guys like you that. Let's just pause for a second. Generally, when you receive a text message that says, I spent more time in prison just using the toilet, it's not going to be favorable. Some people, when they're getting ready to insult or criticize you, at least will open up with something complimentary. That happened a few days ago. My wife sent me a text message that said, hey, I love that you're introducing our kids to such different groups of music. However, I'm not sure they should be running around the house singing Fat and White and Nerdy by Weird Al. Further, who is Big Daddy Kane, and why are the kids running around the house singing Ain't No Half Steppin'? So if you're not a fan of Weird Al or Big Daddy Kane, this is not the right channel for you. Unsubscribe and go elsewhere. If you are a fan, however, stay, subscribe, comment, join our community as I get back to this text message from the beginning. I spent more time in prison just using the toilet than the total length of your entire sentence at Club Fed. I hated guys like you that came in and treated your stay as a vacation. And now you think you're some big shot going on CNBC and Fox. If they wanted the real facts, they would call someone who did real time. F you in the horse you rode in on. This is not a Weird Al or Big Daddy Kane fan. Look, I empathize with someone who's home from prison and they're struggling and they want to take it out on me. I'm fascinated by this competition that people who have been to federal prison have, and they love to talk about how long they served, how hard they had it, they were in transit, in the hole. Everyone has their own journey. One day in prison for one guy can be devastating, a year and a day for another, 10 years. Everyone has their own perspective. It's all relative. Rather than complain about how long someone served or questioning why someone's on TV or doing media, as justice impacted people, we want to support each other. But I empathize with the fact that he is going through a difficult situation. And also I'll say, with this competition of who served the hardest time, as a reminder, my business partner did 26 consecutive years in prison, including 8 years in the penitentiary in Atlanta. If it was a competition, our team would win. But it's not. Again, I recognize people are angry when they come home because it's difficult to transition, which comes to the idea for this video, which originated from this text message I got. And here I am 10 minutes later filming it on one take. So let's do this. Is it a country club? Or I frequently hear this white collar country club prison. Is it? Okay, so here's the brutal reality. It can be. If someone wants it to be, it can be. Of course. You have this open environment, right? No fences or barbed wire. The only fence is the pickleball fence. Don't hate me. I didn't create the prison system. I think the Quakers did 2 centuries ago. We've totally misconstrued what they had in mind, but I didn't create it, nor did anyone serving time in a minimum security camp. Which is strange, by the way, that someone who's justice impacted wants people like us to serve a harder time. He sounds like a guard, a victim, or a prosecutor. Okay, fine. But yes, it looks like a corporate office park or junior college. You got a big track, bocce ball, handball, soccer, volleyball, softball. I mean, it can be party time 101. There is no question. If you want to go to prison and have the time of your life and have absolutely no responsibility, you are in luck. And rather than talk about, well, the conditions aren't that great, and yes, you can go to the chow hall if you smuggle a egg. You can go to the hole if you smuggle an egg out of the chow hall, and then you might have to use the restroom in front of a bunch of dudes, and you can go to the hole if you go into another dorm without permission, and there are fights and gambling and things like that, and drugs and problems. Rather than get into the realities that I think debunk the idea that it's a country club prison, let's just embrace the reality that it is absolutely better than any other place in the world or country to serve time. Better than a low, medium, state. It is the easiest and best place to serve time if you are going to federal prison. So rather than run from it, let's own it. And I own that I served a measly year in a minimum security camp. But guess what? People watching this video who are traversing the system, they don't care. All they care about is themselves, which is why you're here. How does this content or this team help me get closer to what I want? A shorter sentence, getting out of prison earlier, not letting this conviction be a stain on the rest of my life and my kids' life, so on and so on and so on. The reason I named the company White Collar Advice instead of Federal Prison Advice or some ridiculous prison name is because the lion's share of what we do isn't related to prison advice. Where to masturbate, how to get the best job, how to get the best bunk. Sure, we cover those things. They're pretty easy to cover. It's not that hard. The hard and complex part is, what does the rest of your life look like? Because it's your name versus the United States of America. Let me say it, United States of America versus your name. What are you doing today to ensure you get the shortest sentence? So if you go to a club fed, if you want to call it that, the experience isn't party time 101 for you, where it's pickleball at 9, tennis at 11, softball at 2. Let's take a little nappy and lay out from 3 to 4, 4 p.m. standing count. Let's walk casually down to dinner. Then we're going to walk the track from 7 to 9. Then we're going to watch TV from 10 to 11. We're going to gamble till 1. Let's get back to the cubicle for the 1 a.m. standing count. Then we're going to go have a little bit more fun. And then we're going to call home and make it seem like it's so hard. Can you send me some money, please? It's so difficult. If I wasn't in such a... If you weren't so close to me, I would transfer to an easier prison. Then they hang up and it's party time 101. I saw that in prison. Don't be that dude. Don't be that guy that makes it harder on your family, that embraces the idea that it's a club-fed party time 101. I'm begging you, because your family members call us. They join our community and they say, I just visited with my loved one. I watched one of your videos where you encouraged me to ask him, like, what does he do all day? Like, how are you preparing to come home? You lost your license to be a doctor. Like, you owe $7.5 million to Medicare. What's the plan? My husband didn't like my questions. He threw me out of visits. He told me not to come back for a while. Like, this isn't really good. What do we do, Justin? They call us. Our community only works for people that want to do the work, that want to memorialize and document who they are, what they've learned, why they'll never return to another courtroom, why they're worthy of leniency. How many of you obsess in this country club, if you want to call it that, about getting out of federal prison and going to the halfway house only to have your job turned down because you didn't prepare and build for it in your release plan? You know what you do? You call us. Hey, this sucks. They won't hire me. They want me to go work at KFC for $15 an hour. What do you think? Then I interview them and I learn what they did in federal prison. And the answer is, of course they want you to go to KFC. Of course they're not going to approve your job to be an entrepreneur. You owe $7 million or $3 million. You've done nothing to memorialize and document why you're worthy of a second chance, why you're worthy of building this business. So when I receive messages like this, that you were in a country club, rather than deny it or get angry or upset, I will say, relative to all other federal prisons, you're right. You got it. Bingo, 100%. And I'm also here to say, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Because the easiest part of the sanction for most people traversing the system is federal prison. It's clearly defined with a beginning and an end. You know when you're leaving. Now with the First Step Act and RDAP and Good Time, you get home more quicker than you ever could have imagined. And then there's more reform coming. I know, because my partner's been involved in it for decades. We helped pass the First Step Act. He was in Philly last week. He spent time with Colette Peters, the director of the BOP. More reform is coming. But who cares if you get home earlier if you ain't ready for life on the other side? That's how I'm going to close this video. I don't want you to be the guy sending me a text message that says, I'm angry that you're on TV. I'm angry that you only served a year in a minimum security camp. You were not qualified. Nobody cares. Memorialize and document your own journey. Embrace if you're going to a minimum security camp. You are so fortunate. You are so lucky, because there are people that go to low security prisons. There are people who endure transit for a variety of reasons. You are so lucky if you are going to a camp. You are so lucky that you can take a break and play pickleball at 11. You are so lucky that you can go to a library. Express gratitude rather than complain. Express gratitude that you can run around a dusty dirt track, because there are some people stuck in a detention center who don't have those opportunities. Embrace it. Be grateful. Prepare. But if you get too much into the party time 101, what happens is, you come home, you're not ready, right? There's longing and loathing. There are these dudes in prison, they loathe every single day in prison. It's Groundhog Day, it's Groundhog Day. Doesn't have to be. It could be Groundhog Day outside in the free world. Doesn't have to be. They loathe these days, and they reach the end of their federal prison term and say, well, I'm going to miss parts of this. Miss what? You complained about it every single day. Which is it? Prepare, be grateful, you're coming home, it's going to end, and I don't want you to reach the halfway house and then say, damn, they didn't approve my job. Then you're going to look back and say, I wasted my time in federal prison. Damn, I should have turned down the halfway house. I wish I was back in federal prison gambling, watching TV, hustling, using my iPhone, running around that track, and damn, I wonder who's the new pickleball champion. Like, I was the pickleball champion of this country club prison, and I could have stayed there and been defending my title, but now someone took it because I left and went to the halfway house and they didn't accept my job. Like, should I violate and go back? But if I do violate, they're actually not going to send me back to prison. They're going to send me to the detention center because I only have 3 months left. Damn, where's the pickleball court of this halfway house? Like, this is a rundown motel. Where's the halfway house? Jason, do you see the pickleball? If I sound cynical or condescending, it's because our team, 20% of the thousands of people a month that reach out to our community are home from prison. And their wives and their kids and the prisoners reach out and say, I'm struggling. No one will hire me. No one will piss on me if I was on fire. My reputation is destroyed. You want to know why? Because you let the Department of Justice and the FBI manage your reputation. You let them manage your brand. They're happy to do it for free. They're in the branding and marketing business. They'd love nothing more than to continue to portray you as a criminal and an inveterate scum who is unable to do better. They have a lot of money. They're going to continue to put these press releases up there. So you can go to Club Fed and have Party Time 101 and gamble and hustle and play a whole lot of pickleball, or you can say, I don't want this to define the rest of my life. I don't want this to define the rest of my life. I don't want this to define the rest of my life. If I said it again, I'll continue to say it. And the only way you will ensure that it doesn't define the rest of your life is to memorialize it. Document it every single day. Have you read a book recently? Why did you read it? What have you learned from it? How will it help you moving forward? That's the superpower that you can obtain in federal prison. I am convinced of it. Michael Santos taught me that. Are you building your release plan and sharing it with your probation officer from custody? If you want to be successful, you should. Sure, you may give the release plan to your case manager and they may throw it in the toilet, or they may take it, read it, and say, I'm going to put this in your file. This is impressive. Go teach this course. Can't predict the future. I'm not psychic. I don't know what they'll do. We encourage you to do it because you're coming home, and life tends to be easier for those who are active, who do the work and prepare. And by starting, embracing the concept done is better than perfect, by starting, you know when to pivot. So, to this person that reached out to me, I empathize with you. I'm sorry that you're angry and you felt the need to send me this message. I encourage you. I wish you well. I wish all of you well. Do not waste your time in the easiest place anyone in the world will ever serve time. People call it a country club. Who cares? Move on. Document the journey. Come home and be successful so this does not define the rest of your life. I've enjoyed our time together. Ain't no half steppin'. Ain't no half steppin'. Ain't no half steppin'. Big Daddy Kane. Kids are singing it. I'm in a lot of trouble. We're going to have to transition to somebody else. Bye-bye.